Belle led Hercules into the sunlit library, her arms full of books and her heart full of hope. Sunlight streamed through the tall arched windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air and casting a warm glow on the endless rows of leather-bound volumes. "Isn't it wonderful, Hercules?" she asked, her voice echoing softly in the grand, quiet space. Hercules, accustomed to open fields and sparring arenas, looked around in awe. The sheer number of books was overwhelming, but Belle's excitement was contagious. He followed her with an eager grin, his towering frame a stark contrast to the delicate, towering shelves. They found a cozy nook, and Belle carefully placed her stack of books on a heavy oak table. With a gentle smile, Belle selected the simplest book from the top of the pile. She opened it to the first page, the crisp paper whispering as it turned. The illustrations were bright, and the words were large and clear. "All right," she began, her tone soft and encouraging. "Let's start with this one." She pointed to a 3-letter word, her slender finger resting just below the black ink. "Can you try to sound it out?" Hercules leaned in close, his big blue eyes wide with a mixture of fascination and intense concentration. He squinted at the strange shapes, his brow furrowed. For a moment, the only sound was the quiet hum of the library. Hercules took a deep breath, his lips forming the shape of the first letter. He sounded it out slowly, then the next, and the next. Suddenly, his eyes lit up as the sounds coalesced into a familiar word. "Dog," he exclaimed, a huge, triumphant smile spreading across his face. Overcome with joy, he instinctively flexed his enormous biceps in a celebratory pose. "I did it, Belle. The celebration was cut short by a sharp, unpleasant ripping sound. Hercules looked down. The book, caught in the grip of his flexing muscles, had torn clean in half. His triumphant smile vanished, replaced instantly by a look of utter shock, and then profound sadness as he stared at the 2 ruined pieces in his hands. What followed was a slow, painful cycle of hope and destruction. Belle would patiently open another book, and Hercules would try again. He was a quick study, his frustration growing not from a lack of understanding, but from his own uncontrollable strength. Each time he successfully deciphered a word or a short phrase, a surge of excitement would lead to another torn page, another cracked spine, another mangled cover. A pile of ruined books began to grow on the floor beside their table, a sad monument to their failed lessons. With each addition to the pile, Hercules slumped further into his chair, his broad shoulders drooping with dejection. Belle's patient expression was now tinged with a deep concern for her disheartened student. Belle looked from Hercules' sad face to the tragic pile of paper and cardboard. It was clear this approach wasn't working. His strength, a blessing in every other aspect of his life, had become a curse within these library walls. Her gaze drifted around the room, past the wooden shelves and paper pages, until it landed on the stone architecture of the library itself. The solid pillars, the marble floor. A thought began to form, a tiny spark in her mind. She looked back at Hercules' powerful hands that could crush rock, and the spark ignited into a brilliant idea. A smile slowly returned to her face. She returned a short while later, but not with another fragile book. Instead, she carried a large, smooth stone tablet and a hammer and chisel borrowed from the palace masons. She set the heavy slab on the table with a solid thud. Hercules watched, confused, as she began to carefully carve large, clear letters into the stone surface. The rhythmic tap-tap of the chisel was a comforting sound in the quiet library. When she was done, she pushed the tablet towards him. Intrigued, Hercules hesitantly reached out, his thick finger tracing the deep grooves of the letters. The stone was cool and unyielding beneath his touch. It wouldn't tear. It wouldn't bend. A renewed sense of determination filled him. He focused on the stone, his eyes following the carved letters that formed a simple sentence. He read it aloud, his voice gaining confidence with each word. "The sun is warm." He finished the sentence and looked up, his face breaking into a radiant, purely triumphant smile that dwarfed all his previous ones. It was a smile of true accomplishment, free from the fear of destruction. He gently, almost reverently, wrapped his arms around the heavy stone tablet and hugged it to his chest, his joy palpable. Belle's heart swelled with pride as she watched him. The final, warm rays of the afternoon sun slanted through the library window, bathing the scene in a golden light. Belle and Hercules sat side by side, their heads closed together. The tragic pile of ripped books was forgotten, replaced by the sturdy, reliable stone. Hercules' finger traced the lines of text as he read aloud from their shared, unbreakable book, his voice steady and clear. Belle listened, her smile serene, her hand resting near his on the cool stone. In the quiet peace of the grand library, they had found their own way, proving that with a little creativity, any obstacle could be overcome.